What's going on, gang? It's your boy Wayne, and you already know we got another video for you. So for those of you who aren't aware, last Wednesday, President Donald Trump had signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Islamic Republic of Iran, and it drew out 14 provisions in which both parties must enact. And the first one being this here. Let's see if we can pull that up. Okay, as you can see, it says the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war are signing this Memorandum of Understanding to declare the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operations against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensure the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions of this paragraph. So as you can see, we have a little issue here. And the issue that we're having is, how does the United States try to reset the Middle East diplomatically when we have allies who feel adversely to what we're trying to accomplish? And here's what I mean by that.
Now to the latest in the war with Iran. Vice President J.D. Vance is in Switzerland ahead of peace talks. He is meeting now with delegates from Pakistan who are brokering negotiations. Iran is refusing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical shipping routes, which is putting more strain on the fragile deal. Meantime, deadly Israeli strikes in Lebanon are adding fresh pressure. Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
The new U.S.-Iran agreement is facing a major test before the next round of talks even begin. Iran is keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed despite a memorandum of understanding that calls for the critical waterway to reopen. That agreement, signed by President Trump and Iran's president, gives both sides 60 days to reach a final deal. But Iran is now pointing to Israel's deadly strikes on Lebanon, the blatant breach and violation by the United States of the first clause of the ceasefire agreement, which calls for fighting to end on all fronts. But the U.S. military denying Iran's claim that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, saying traffic continues to flow, and U.S. forces are monitoring the situation to ensure this remains the case. As part of the agreement, Iran can sell its oil on the global market for the first time in decades. The U.S. also pledges to work to unfreeze some $24 billion in Iranian assets. All this before Iran makes any commitments to destroy its nuclear stockpile. Vice President J.D. Vance is in Switzerland alongside President Trump's envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for the next round of talks.
We're hopefully making progress on the nuclear issue, make progress on the Lebanon ceasefire issue.
ABC News contributor Mick Mulroy says he believes the Iranians think they have the upper hand.
They're getting most of the benefits that we never thought that we would concede to by any administration before we even get into the nuclear discussions.
The deal is also drawing criticism from some Republican lawmakers who call it a win for Iran, arguing Tehran is getting major economic relief before the talks even begin. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
So there you have it. We have a major issue because we're trying to establish diplomacy in the Middle East with Iran, but it's a little difficult to do when you have an ally that completely goes behind your back and does it and acts independently outside of the agreement that you have set up. And it's causing unnecessary issues because they're saying that they're responding to Hezbollah. But here's some more details on that.
Our top story this hour, Israel and Hezbollah said they agreed to a ceasefire, but the reality on the ground tells a different story. Since the truce came into effect Friday afternoon, Lebanon's civil defense is reporting that Israeli attacks on the Nabatea district have killed at least 16 people and wounded 12 others. Israel also bombed the Bekaa Valley in the east of the country, killing one person there, as well as southern Lebanon's Tyre district, killing 5 people. Israel says it's reacting to attacks from Hezbollah and that the militant group launched more than 50 projectiles at its forces overnight. For more on this, we can cross to Jerusalem and speak with our correspondent, Noga Tarnopolsky. So, Noga, it doesn't seem much like a ceasefire at the moment. What more can you tell us about these latest Israeli strikes?
No, it really does not seem much like a ceasefire. And it's interesting also to note in the Army statement, which came out really after a great delay. All day long, we've been trying to find out what are these Israeli Army strikes hitting at? What are they targeting inside Lebanon? What the Army describes is a situation in which its own soldiers in southern Lebanon are being targeted, they say, more than 50 times overnight. And it's a complicated situation, even geopolitically, because we know that these are conscripted soldiers, by and large, 18 and 19-year-olds. For Israelis, they're considered basically like kids just out of high school, and every attempt to hit these soldiers is taken very hard in Israel, especially after 4 were killed yesterday in a very successful Hezbollah strike against an Israeli tank in southern Lebanon. But we also know, because President Trump has said so explicitly, that if there are no dead Israeli civilians involved in any of these Hezbollah attacks, he considers them too minor for Israel to respond to.
That right there, no Israelis have been harmed in any of these attacks. So Donald Trump says that they're basically futile. It's futile to even respond. But of course, Israel is going to do what Israel's going to do. And as you see, they respond despite the words of Donald Trump.
And so what we're seeing, again, is Lebanon, the nation of Lebanon, basically as a peon, exactly what the government of Lebanon doesn't want to see. It wants to assert sovereignty, and instead, Lebanese territory is being used as a fighting ground between Hezbollah, operating as an arm of Iran, and the state of Israel. And while Iran's role here is pretty nefarious, it is Israel with which the United States has expressed great anger in recent days. So it really is something of a tightrope for Prime Minister Netanyahu.
I think you guys get the gist of it. So that is what is going on currently as it relates to the Memorandum of Understanding, the United States and Iran. What are we going to do about Israel? Can we do anything? I would just like to know, what people who are a little bit more informed and have been following this thing a little bit more extensively, what are you guys' thoughts?